for appointment as members of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board. The nomination of the six was conveyed to the clerk of the Assembly through a letter reference number SFGOV-TTST.7 NR Volume 4/58 dated 30th January 2023. The nominees' curriculum vitae and testimonials were also attached. The Speaker of the County Assembly read the message from His Excellency the Governor communicating the names of the nominees to the House for the position of chairpersons, vice chairpersons, and members respectively during the Tuesday afternoon sitting number 001 on 14th February 2023, pursuant to the Section 7(1) of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and Standing Order 187-4. The matter was referred to the Committee of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives Development for vetting and reporting to the House within 14 days. Consequently, and in compliance with Section 7(4) of the Act, the Clerk of the County Assembly placed a notification in the media on Wednesday, 15th February 2023, inviting the public to submit any information or comments on the suitability or otherwise of the nominees, memoranda by way of writing, submissions on oath, that is affidavit, sent or hand delivered to the office of the clerk. The notification indicated that the submission were to be received by Tuesday, 21st February 2023 by 5 p.m. By close of the submission deadline, the committee received information from Sophie Janet Manga to the effect that the list of nominees did not reflect the face of the Taita Taveta County, as there was no nominee from Taveta tribe. Further, in fulfillment of the provision of Section 7(4) of the county clerk of the Act, the Clerk of the County Assembly on Wednesday, 15th February 2023, notified the public through the media the intention of the committee to conduct the approval hearing of the nominees on Thursday, 23rd February 2023 at 9 a.m. Section 7(8), that is Section 7(8) of the Act, provides that the approval hearing should focus on candidates' academic credentials. 1. Professional training and experience, and personal integrity and background. To fulfill the requirement of the personal integrity, the clerk verified from the Kenya Revenue Authority, the Ethics and Corruption Commission, the Higher Education Loans Board, to ascertain the nominees' good standing with the said government institutions. The nominees were also required to submit clearance from the said institution, which they did. The nominees appeared before the committee on Thursday, 23rd February 2023 for approval hearings in accordance with the provision of the Constitution, the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017, Section 6 of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Act 2022, and the County Assembly Standing Orders on their suitability or otherwise for appointment to the positions of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board member. Pursuant to the Section 7 to 10 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act 2017 and Section 6 of the Taita Taveta County Investment Development Corporation Act 2022, having considered the nominees' curriculum vitae and filed questionnaires pursuant to the first schedule of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017 and the oral submission during the approval hearing, the committee made several findings and observations. The committee observed that the following nominees met the integrity threshold, demonstrated knowledge of topical, administrative, and technical issues touching on the portfolio to which they had been nominated and had the requisite abilities, academic qualifications, and professional experience to be approved for appointment to the Taita, Taveta and Development Corporation Board. 1. Mr. William Lay, nominee for position of Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Chairperson. 2. Ms. Josephine Egwa Mbela, nominee for the position of Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Vice Chairperson. 3. Mr. Vald Makima, nominee for the position of Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. 4. Ms. Catherine Wakesho, nominee for the position of Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. Mr. Johnson, that is number 5. Mr. Johnson Mwawasi Kilangi, nominee for the position of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Committee Corporation Board Member. 6. Mr. Mika Shem Wazige, nominee for the position of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. Having conducted the approval hearings for the nominees pursuant to Section 6(1) of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Act 2022 and Section 6 to 9 of the Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act No. 5 of 2017, the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperative Development recommends that this House approves the nominees of the following, the nominations of the following. 1. Ms. Josephine Egwa Mbela, nominee for the position of Taita Taveta Investment and Development Corporation Board Vice Chairperson. 2. Mr. Val Mwakima, nominee for the position of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. Ms. Catherine Wakesho, that's number 3, nominee for the position of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. Number 4, Mr. Johnson Mwawasi Kilangi, nominee for the position of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. Number 5, Mr. Mika Shem Mwazige, nominee for the position of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Member. Further, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the Section 6(1) of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Act 2022, Section 6 to 9 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act No. 5 of 2017, the committee recommends that this House rejects the nomination of 1 Mr. William Lay, nominee for position of Taita Taveta County Investment and Development Corporation Board Chairperson, for the reasons that his active and instrumental role in the Taita Taveta Investment and Development Corporation Bill, which was enacted into law, denies him the impartiality and sobriety to implement the legislation. The demeanor and choice of words during the presentation is wanting, and there is no evidence from him of any efforts from his end to distance himself from the newspaper report and or allegations of the business dailies of Thursday, February 7th, 2013, apart from the vague explanation during the vetting session, of which allegations are serious. May I take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to thank all the members of this committee for their input and valuable contributions and time during the approval hearings and deliberation during this writing of this report. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the Office of the Clerk of the County Assembly of the logistic support according to it during the exercise. On behalf of the committee, and pursuant to Section 9 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017 and the provision of Standing Order 187-4, it is now my singular duty, Mr. Speaker, and privilege to present to the House this report of the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperative development. Mr. Speaker, and to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, number one, to thank the County Assembly of Taita Taveta, especially the second County Assembly, which is the one which was tasked with this act. It's the one which passed the motion and the act. It was supposed to be ascended by the governor, by the former governor, but it gathered some dust there. But I want also thank the current governor, Mheshimiwa Mwadime Wakuja, for going with speed and ascending this act to law. And to say this cooperation is of great importance to this county, and this bill is also of great importance because, Mr. Speaker, it gives the legal framework for investment in this county. Mr. Speaker, since the conception of this county, that is after 2010 promulgation of the Constitution, we have been talking about investment. We have been talking about investment, because the Constitution envisages that each county should stand on its own. Apart from depending on the money from the exchequer, you ought to have generated your own source revenue. But it was difficult for investors, Mr. Speaker, to come and invest in our county because there was no such platform. There were no such platform. So this bill, Mr. Speaker, has given this county a platform whereby the investors will come invest with confidence. They will come invest without fear because they are well protected by the law. And this committee, or this the nominees you have just mentioned here, they are entitled, or they're in charge of mapping up all the potential areas for investment in our county. And this is a great role, Mr. Speaker. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, allow me to move the motion. Thank you. I want to call my brother, Honorable from Veruga, or Honorable Mandao, to second the motion.
Honorable members, I propose the question that this third assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperative Development on vetting of nominees for the appointments as members of Board of Directors of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 28th February 2023, morning sitting, number 008, and its recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Honorable Kidai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to support the motion. And first, I would want to congratulate the committee for the good job they have done. And it's also my wish that the board, as I congratulate them, they would work for the better of our, to change the lives of our Taitas and Taveta for better. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to.
Honorable Kimoyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also want to take this opportunity also to support this motion and also recommend the committee for a good work done. This team of the team that we have, the list of the members that we have identified they are going to be very important into this county, because immediately they take over, we will see some changes in investment. So I call upon the House to support this this motion, so that they get into the job. In this few remarks, I beg to support. Thank you.
Honorable Shambu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Chairman, Trade and Investment Committee, together with his team, for the wonderful job that they have done for the citizens of this county of Taita. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate the nominees who have found their way in the report and who also stand to be approved for making it this far. I want to join Honorable Kidali in her words that she hopes that they are going to do a great job for our county. Mr. Speaker, I want to support the motion in totality. And Mr. Speaker, I personally want to support that motion for these reasons, and the fact that the committee saw it fit to not approve the name of the chair as was presented. Mr. Speaker, this county is a great county. It is endowed with serious human resource from all the 4 sub-counties. Mr. Speaker, there were complaints from the committee that the chair that was proposed in that committee spoke in a very condescending tone to the members of the committee. Mr. Speaker, that is a behavior that should not be tolerated, not today, not in this committee, not in any other committee, Mr. Speaker. This House is a honorable House. The members that sit in this House are honorable members, and they are here to work on behalf of the people of Taita County. So no one should have the audacity to speak them in disrespectful tone, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the chair, as has been alleged by the committee and even from public knowledge, Mr. Speaker, has worked in so many companies. The track record and the history speaks for itself. I personally knew the person through media and because of the work that he has done in different companies. And Mr. Speaker, it is in the public knowledge that in every company that the person has been working, there has been a lot of boardroom coups, Mr. Speaker. And I'm afraid that if we happen to have a member of such a noble board seated working for this county, Mr. Speaker, who knows that such habits would exhibit themselves even in their course of duty. So, Mr. Speaker, also, in this county, we have young professionals, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for a very long time, we have been saying the youth of this country are leaders of tomorrow. We have refused as young people to say that we are leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders of today. Mr. Speaker, I wish the governor would have tried to put a young person to be the chair of that board, because we know we have very many young and able young people who are able to take over these opportunities. And Mr. Speaker, I want to beg this House that even in the next vetting that we are going to do, we need to deliberately ensure that we give the young people of this county an opportunity to serve their motherland. Mr. Speaker, finally, we know from the documents that have been presented to the committee, it is evident that Mr. Lay is overqualified for that position. I said overqualified, Mr. Speaker, because the history and his CV speaks for itself, and therefore I feel that he's not suitable to be the chair of this board because he's overqualified, Mr. Speaker, but he can serve as a consultant to support this board execute its mandate. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support.
Honorable members, I invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this particular opportunity. I thank the members who have just stood up to support my motion, and I believe that this motion is going to see the day of the light, and I beg to move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. I beg to reply.
Honorable members, I put the question that this third assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives Development on vetting of nominees for appointment as members of Board of Directors of the Taita Taveta County Investment and Development, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 28th February 2023, morning sitting number 008, and recommendations thereof. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order. Yes, Mheshimiwa Shambi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move a motion. County governments of Taita Taveta procuring of supplies, services, and works under the development budget by mid of November of each financial year. Aware that the Taita Taveta County has had challenges in settling pending bills, despite several budgetary allocations on the same occasioned by unrealized revenues and in some instances delayed procurement of goods, services, and works. Noting that the current trend coupled with delayed treasury releases makes budget implementation difficult, thus delaying key development targets and service delivery to the great people of Taita Taveta. Recognizing that the people of Taita Taveta expect nothing short of good services by their county government, it is high time that this county government became sensitive to the plight of its people by ensuring that certain aspects of the budget implementation cycle are given priority so as to ensure seamless implementation of the budget as well as focused and targeted revenue collection based on expenditure already incurred as a way of tightening the belt on our revenue collection efforts. Deeply concerned that our people do not have the pleasure of waiting for a whole financial year for their government to implement the development budget in a staggered fashion, and yet the development and services are needed as a matter of priority, and regretting that there has thus far been no proposal from the county government to ensure that the desired end is achieved seamlessly for the benefit of our people and to their great loss of delayed service delivery. Now, therefore, this assembly resolves that the county executive urgently moves to ensure that its procurement plan is designed to implement the development budget of each financial year by ensuring that the same is implemented by way of completing tendering processes for all development tenders, latest by mid-November in every financial year going forward. I beg Honorable Nancy Mwakio to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I propose the question that, aware that the Taita Taveta County has had challenges in settling pending bills despite several budgetary allocations on the same, occasioned by unrealized revenues and at some instances delayed procurement of goods and services. delayed procurement of goods and services and works, noting that the current trend coupled with delayed treasury releases makes budgetary implementation difficult, thus delaying key development targets and service delivery to the great people of Taita Taveta. Recognizing that the people of Taita Taveta expect nothing short of good services by their government, their county government, it is high time that this county government becomes sensitive to the plight of its people by ensuring that certain aspects of the budget implementation cycles are given priority so as to ensure seamless implementation of the budget, as well as focused and targeted revenue collection budgeted on expenditure already incurred, as a way of tightening the belt on our revenue allocation efforts. Deeply concerned that our people do not have the pleasure of waiting for a whole financial year for their government to implement the development budget in a staggered fashion, and yet the development and the services are needed as a matter of priority, and regretting that there has thus far regretting that there has thus far been no proposal for the county government to ensure that the desired end is achieved seamlessly for the benefit of our people and to their great loss for delayed service delivery. Note therefore, this assembly resolves that county executive urgently moves to ensure that its procurement plan is designed to implement the development budget of each financial year by ensuring that the same is implemented by way of completing tendering processes for all development tenders latest by mid-November in every financial year going forward. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Mheshimiwa Mwamidi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity to contribute on this motion. First and foremost, I want to thank fellow Honorable Member Peter Shambi for expeditiously delivering this motion to the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, not forgetting that just a week ago, we deliberated and tabled a report on the CBROP for last financial year, and glaring discrepancies were highlighted in that report, mainly causes leading to huge pending bills and incomplete projects, which actually almost accumulated to half the budgets. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, has been beating the logic for quite some while. Why should we be passing budgets that we cannot fulfill within the same financial year, 10 years after devolution? Mr. Speaker, sir, it is bad to get rained on a rainy season because you forgot your umbrella day one. But it is worse and foolhardy to get out of the house and get rained on, leaving the umbrella back in the house. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is what has been happening over the successive years. We are here spending a lot of time asking ourselves, why do we have a huge pending bill? Yet the answer is within us. This motion, Mr. Speaker, sir, will help this county to be the first county in this republic not to register pending bill in a financial year. And if at all we do register pending bills in any financial year after this motion, that is from the budget of 2023-2024, then it will be less than a 1% pending bill of the budget. Because a year two will be able to accomplish all the projects within the financial year, noting that the budget allocates funds for all proposed projects. It is unfortunate that some logic beats logic. When the budget itself allocates funds for each proposed project, why should we cross a year with accrued pending bills, yet disbursements are done at the rate of average of 96 to 98%? So, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the best antidote to the problem that has bedeviled not only Taita Taveta, but this whole country at large, and many other counties will come to benchmark from Taita Taveta after our exercise of what has been proposed by our brother chair of our brother honorable member Peter Shambi and chair for implementation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to support this motion, and I want to join my fellow brother honorable Peter Shambi and chair for implementation in seeking and rallying the whole house in supporting this motion. And I believe, being the chair of implementation, he will assure this house that the executive will implement this, and we should see the first results this coming November. And by end of June, everybody will be proud to be a member of this county assembly and having attended this session today where this motion was passed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support the motion by Honorable Peter Shambi. First of all, I would like to congratulate you. And secondly, I'm aware that devolved governments were created or were formed to uplift the living standards of Taita Taveta residents and other counties. But it's so unfortunate that most of our people who applied for these tenders are languishing in poverty. So my question, I've been asking myself, are these county governments or devolved governments formed to impoverish our people or to uplift the living standards of our people? So for me, I think what Peter Shambi has suggested for the House to pass is that the procurement process should end by mid-November. I think that will be a cure of all the problems that we are facing now as a county. I stand to support the motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, I invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank my fellow honorable members for supporting this motion. Mr. Speaker, the rationale of this motion is basically to create a remedy for the poor fiscal absorption in this country. Mr. Speaker, poor fiscal absorption, as has been evidenced by the CBROP report that has just been mentioned by the chair budget, Mr. Speaker, is that our absorption rate stands at a maximum of 20% as per the last financial year, Mr. Speaker. This directly translates to lack of development projects at the grassroots, Mr. Speaker, and also as a source of a number of pending bills, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the chair implementation, I want to remind this House that we have a duty to be able to push the executive to be able to exercise its mandate. And the executive, this time around, they should be very thankful to this House because we are trying all means to try and support their work so that we all be seen to deliver, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in development principles, there are 5 components of implementation, Mr. Speaker. One of the components is something we call the people. That is human resource, Mr. Speaker. That is honorable members plus those people working those offices at the executive. Mr. Speaker, those people have a duty and responsibility to be able to exercise their responsibilities as per job descriptions, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it is the issue of resources. This House has a noble responsibility, Mr. Speaker, to be able to discuss and pass budgets so that to set aside resources to be able to implement development projects at the grassroots and in respective wards, Mr. Speaker. The challenge we've always had, Mr. Speaker, is that we have the people, we have the resources, but we do not have the structure, which is the third component, Mr. Speaker. We have to create structures that would assist both the executive and the assembly to be able to monitor and evaluate the levels of implementation of different development projects that are designed to be able to bring recourse to the citizens of this country, Mr. Speaker. We need also to put systems, Mr. Speaker, as a component of implementation in development. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, we need to create a culture. Now, Mr. Speaker, this motion basically is seeking to create a culture whereby honorable members, once they propose their projects, they do not have to go to different offices, knocking doors and asking people whether they've been able to do their work. We, as the implementation committee, we want to purpose to create an implementation wheel whereby everyone would be in a position to understand their mandate, give people proper timelines, Mr. Speaker, so that when somebody does not execute his responsibility, then it squarely lies on him, Mr. Speaker. And that will reduce the burdens of honorable members going to these offices to follow up on their projects. Mr. Speaker, when the budget has been passed, we are looking forward to having roundtable meetings with the executive. Myself and the majority leader, Mr. Speaker, has once visited the governor over the same, but it has not been implemented to date. We have been taken round corners and circles, Mr. Speaker, and this has not worked. And we have decided to bring a motion today so that now it will be based on the documents that we have agreed, both of us, the executive and the assembly. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, there must be clarity. One of the challenges that we are finding in the execution of the budget, Mr. Speaker, is lack of clarity. Mr. Speaker, that habit has come to a stop. So through this bill, Mr. Speaker, we are looking forward to having a proper working and structured relationship with the executive in terms of implementation of our projects. With that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Thank you.
Honorable members, I put the question that aware that the Taita Taveta County has had challenges in settling bills, heading bills, despite several budgetary allocations on the same occasion by unutilized revenues and some instances delayed procurement of goods and services and works, noting that the current trend coupled with delayed treasury releases makes budget implementation difficult, thus delaying key development targets and service delivery to the great people of Taita Taveta. Recognizing that the people of Taita Taveta expect nothing short of good services by their county government, it is high time that this county government become sensitive to the plight of its people by ensuring that certain aspects of the budget implementation cycle are given priority so as to ensure seamless implementation of the budget as well as focused and targeted revenue collection based on an expenditure already incurred as a way of tightening the belt on our revenue collection efforts. Deeply concerned that our people do not have the pleasure of waiting for a whole financial year for their government to implement the development budget in a staggered fashion, and yet the development and the services are needed as a matter of priority, and regretting that There has thus far been no proposal for the county government to ensure that the desired end is achieved seamlessly for the benefit of our people and to their great loss for delayed service delivery. Now, therefore, this assembly resolves that the county executive urgently moves to ensure that its procurement plan is designed to implement the development budget of each financial year by ensuring that the same is implemented by the way of implementing tendering processes for all development tenders latest by mid-November in every financial year going forward. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, there being no other business, the House stands adjourned until Wednesday, 1st March 2023 at 9:30 a.m.